Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to my Euro 2020 predictions. A little bit weird saying that sentence in 2021, but here we are. Now then, of course the main question is, do I think it's coming home? I'll answer that in due course. First and foremost, let's predict the groups. Also, before we get into anything, like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. The algorithm will like you very, very much as a result. Now, this is the way I see these groups going down. All 6 of them there are on your screen for you to look at. Now, as far as I can tell, Group A seemingly has a dark horse vibe to it. Italy, a sort of a main contender dark horse, and Turkey, a sort of there or thereabouts dark horse. And they are my main dark horse as well, Turkey. I'll talk about them in a moment. But Italy, I don't really feel like I need to say much about the fact that they're top of this group in my predictions. They're a very capable side, of course. You've got a good striker up front. You've got a very solid defence, as you always do with Italian defences. And Donnarumma in goal. Yeah, there's not really much to say about Italy. They're obviously the best team in this group. Now, Turkey are the main dark horse. And I want to talk about them most of all in this group, actually. Because I don't think people realise how well-rounded the Turkey side is. They've got quality up front and they've got quality in the back. It's the midfield I don't really know too much about. But up front you've got Yilmaz, who is one of the stars of this year's Ligue 1 campaign for the winners, Lille. And it's not the only Lille player in this squad. They've got the right back, Celik, as well. Or Celik, I suppose it's pronounced. Because I know how Xhaka's pronounced. Because I had him at Sheffield United on Football Manager. And speaking of Xhaka in goal, they've got two very capable goalkeepers. I don't really know much about the third, but I know Bayern is a very capable goalkeeper, as is Xhaka, who I think is their starter, by the looks of things. So they've got capable goalkeepers. Their defence, the core of the defence, likely Demiral and Soyuncu, of course. FA Cup winner Soyuncu and Demiral's at Juventus. But they've also got Kabak, who of course has spent a lot of this year at Liverpool. And looking at their statistics, I can't really work out what's going on in defence because they appear to have like 4 defenders who have played at least 9 games when there haven't been that many games. So they must have been utilising them in other places. I don't know much about their left back, but it's a very capable defence all round when you consider it in. And then you've got players like Çalhanoğlu, which I've probably mispronounced, of course at AC Milan, who is a very capable winger, and Under, of course, who's been at Leicester on the other side. It's a very capable squad, Turkey. Look out for them in turn. I've got Switzerland in third here in Group A because Switzerland are just an annoying team. Switzerland could easily finish second, quite frankly. I think it's going to be Turkey and Switzerland in some order, and one of them, and they'll both go through, one of them being one of the 4 highest third places. Wales, I would argue actually Wales is one of the weakest teams in this entire competition. I hate to say it, but their best players are kind of getting on a bit. I mean, they're still very capable players, and they do require them to perform, but they just don't really have the quality. At this point in time, it might get me some flack, but I genuinely think Scotland's team is better than Wales's in terms of the quality that runs through it. But Switzerland in third, I think that's fairly obvious. Switzerland, it's a weird comparison, but Switzerland are the Burnley of international football. On their day, they can be incredibly difficult to beat, but they need to be on their day to do it. If Switzerland score first, they can be very annoying to break down and get an equaliser against. Basically, score first against Switzerland, then you're okay. It's one of those situations with them pretty much every game. So keep an eye out for them. They're always capable of doing something decent, and I think they will get through, probably as the third place. Group B now. Belgium, that's obvious. Even with the couple of missing people they got for the first game, I don't think they're going to have much issues with that group. Denmark, again, I think is still fairly self-explanatory for Denmark. Eriksen, keep an eye out for Eriksen, of course, as well, in this tournament. Eriksen kind of goes under the radar these days because he doesn't play too much for Inter Milan, and when he does play, I don't think they play him where they want to play him. He's a lot more potent for Denmark, from what I can tell statistic-wise, so keep an eye out for Eriksen. He might be a dark horse for goal scorer, in fact, particularly if they manage to get through to further rounds. Finland in third. Quite frankly, Finland in third might just be biased for me because they've got a couple of players from Paphos who I follow, the Cypriot side. I don't think the Finland side is overall that good, to be honest, but that's all my out there prediction is Finland will end up third in their group. I can't remember if I've got them as one of the 4 highest third places, but I think they're going to do better than Russia, and I don't really fully know why I think that. Also, Team Pukki. I just want there to be a Pukki party at some point, quite frankly. Group C, again, I think my group winners are largely self-explanatory, but Group C is the one I'm least confident on because the Dutch always have it in them to do something bizarre and be rubbish. See also England. But I think the teams in England's group are probably less likely to capitalise on that than the teams in the Dutch group, because Austria and Ukraine could easily use the Netherlands at the top of that group if the Netherlands don't perform. Macedonia, I'm sorry, but you're probably last no matter what. Austria, have a few decent players. I have a few of them in my fantasy side, actually. Well, one at this point, I think it is. But I think Austria's side are sort of overlooked in general because they've got some quality players, particularly in defense, of course. Because you've got Hinteregger and Alaba, the main one. And then in midfield, you're looking kind of at the main men of Sabitzer is one, and keep an eye on Schlager. I think Schlager might be one of the good little point scorers for the Euros, in my opinion. I've got him in my team. I'm not going to show you the entirety of my team, but he's in there. He's my sort of little minor tip because he doesn't cost that much, and I think he might do well. It's kind of it's up front really where Austria maybe aren't quite as potent as some of the other sides. Arnautovic is a good striker, of course, but I don't think he's an elite level striker like other teams have. Now, the Dutch have a similar situation. They've got Depay, who is a decent goal scorer, but I think the Dutch goals come from the team as a whole rather than just the focal man. So it'd be interesting to see who scores for the Netherlands, and they might have an interesting top goal scorer as well. I don't think their top scorer will be their striker, the Netherlands, but we'll see how that one pans out. Ukraine, they're just a decent side. They're not a great side. I think overall they're just a little bit man for man worse than Austria. So that's why I've got them in third, and Macedonia fourth. Group D, yes, I think we're going to top it. And I think that's going to be the problem. You'll see why that's the problem when it gets to the knockout stages. If you've seen the knockout stages, how that all pans out already, you'll understand that probably already. But I think topping the group actually isn't to England's benefit. So that's probably what we're going to do because we never make it easier for ourselves. And playing for second, I think by playing for second, we're likely to cock it up entirely. So I think England will be top. I think Croatia will be second. Yeah, the squad's aging, but there's still a lot of quality in it. Keep an eye on Barisic, in my opinion, as well, in the defence. He might be a nice little defensive point scorer. And the Czech Republic at the bottom because, well, quite frankly, I didn't want to put Scotland bottom. That's literally the main reason why I've got the Czech Republic bottom. I think, realistically, Scotland having the home advantages in games will help them. And I actually do believe that their team is marginally better than the Czechs overall. And that's it, really. I think Croatia will be second. I think Scotland might be one of the four highest. But I'm not fully certain if I actually got them in the predicted four best at this stage. I'll have a look in a moment. I did make these predictions a little while ago. For Group E, Spain, Sweden, Poland, Slovakia, I think that's slightly self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go into that one. Sweden and Poland might be either way around. And it also hurts me to put Slovakia bottom, considering his goal for them. But Sweden and Poland might be the other way around. Alexander Isak, a very good striker for Sweden, coming into his own now. But Poland have the Lewandowski factor. So I think Sweden and Poland could be second and third, could be the other way, could be third and second. Whoever's third, probably in the four highest. Obviously, the same situation applies to Group F. France, Germany, Portugal, Hungary. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. It's going to be France, Germany, Portugal in any order. France probably top, and if they're not top, they need to have a look at themselves. Germany, I think will edge Portugal, although Portugal can be annoying, but Portugal are just like a better Switzerland. They can have a lot of their games end up being a little bit tight and a little bit cagey, and they end up nicking a goal. It's the same situation. If you score against Portugal first, you're in for a much more open game. Usually, that's how it's gone in the past. Of course, the way they won their trophy last time around was largely 1-0. So they've always got that in their locker just to be annoying and 1-0 you. But I think France and Germany have just the better sides, and I think that'll work in their favour. And when it comes to the fourth best third place teams, I'm hedging Switzerland, Ukraine, Poland, and Portugal. Now, Poland, Portugal, and Switzerland, I think when you look at their groups, is fairly obvious. I think Switzerland will beat Wales, so they'll have 3 points. I think Ukraine will beat North Macedonia, so they'll have 3 points. Portugal, obviously, probably going to beat Hungary, so they'll have at least 3 points. They might even draw against one of the teams above them. And Poland, I think, will beat Slovakia, the barest minimum, so they'll have 3 points. The reason why I've left Scotland and Finland out is because I'm not confident they will win their other game. I think the two teams above them will beat them, and I don't think they'll win their game. There is a good chance I think Scotland might draw against Croatia, but Croatia will beat the Czech Republic. There's a good chance that this is going to be 9 points England, 4 points, 2 points, 1 point, and 2 points won't be enough if those other four teams win their game. So I can see Scotland getting 1 or 2 points in that group. If they get 3, that's great, and I'm wrong. I don't mind, but that's my reason for the 4 best third place teams. I'm sorry, Scotland fans, but that's the way I see it. I just think the 4 that I've chosen are likely to win the game against the team in fourth and get the 3 points they need. I'm not confident Finland and Scotland will win that game. So now we have the knockout stage, and of course I've already predicted this before, so it's already pre-populated. The way the draws come out, Belgium versus Poland. Lukaku versus Lewandowski. That's going to be an interesting fight, because I don't think the Belgian defence is necessarily the strongest defence, but then again, neither is the Polish one. So Belgium probably the stronger side there. Same Italy versus Austria. Italy, the stronger side there. I don't think that needs too much explanation. France versus Switzerland, probably cagier than they would like, but France have by far and away the quality. The amount of depth France has is absolutely absurd. We went through this on Twitter recently about the defenders, but they could literally bring like 4 or 5 of a 12-man shortlist in every position. It's quite ridiculous, the France side, and still have a better side than the majority of the tournament. Croatia versus Sweden is probably the most even of them all, and the way I've got that set up, that could easily be Croatia versus the team that were in third. I've forgotten who that was in their group now. Austria. So Sweden and Austria could easily swap over. I think if it's Croatia versus Austria, it might be actually more of a tight game. Again, I think people are underestimating Croatia because of their age these days, but they've got a very capable side, and I don't think Sweden have the quality all around the pitch to deal with Croatia. But then Croatia will be dealt with by France, in my opinion. But Spain versus Ukraine, yeah. England versus Germany. If it goes the way it looks like, if it goes the way I'm predicting, England versus Germany in the round of 16, that's the problem. If England finish second, they would play Sweden, in my predictions. If England finish second, they would play Sweden. If we finish top, we end up playing someone from the group of death, which is problematic. I think if Portugal finish second, I think we edge them. If Germany finish second, we know how it goes against Germany. It'll be penalties and we'll lose on penalties, so that's why I've done that. I would love to click England here. And actually, I think if England were to progress against Germany, I think we get to the final in this situation. I think whoever wins this England versus Germany one goes through to the final. But Netherlands versus Portugal is another unfortunate matchup, and Portugal will deal with that one. I think they have the better quality overall, and I think we've had that matchup before in the past, quite recently. Turkey versus Denmark is the surprisingly even draw as well in the end, but Turkey, as I say, dark horse. And I've dark horsed them against Portugal as well in the next round. I think Germany will deal with them after that point, and I think Spain would deal with them after that point as well. I think whoever wins that other tie will beat Turkey, but a nice maybe 4th place finish for Turkey. Yeah, if there's a 3rd v 4th, I can't remember if there is a 3rd v 4th for this. I think Belgium will beat them as well. So I think it's probably a nice 4th place for Turkey, perhaps. But they might do a Greece, you never know. They might do a Greece and do the whole damn thing. France the winners. I don't think that needs to be explained too much. France the winners. The quality they have is absolutely absurd. France versus Germany for the final. It could be France versus England, but I think it's going to be France versus Germany. Now, whether England should be first or second is a very interesting discussion, I think, because if they are second, they would end up where Croatia are and end up playing France in the quarterfinals, which they will likely lose. So if they do get first, they'll play the team in second in the group of death, which is probably Germany or Portugal. If it's Portugal, I think England have the edge. If it's Germany, I think Germany, annoyingly. But if they were to get through that, then they'd end up with probably Spain, and then they'll play the other from the group of death or Turkey. So I don't think either way is particularly easy, and it's going to be a very awkward knockout for England no matter what happens. One of the main things for France winning this is the fact that France's knockout draws are somewhat kind as well when you look at it, because if they finish top, they're likely going to get Switzerland in the round of 16, and then the winner of Croatia versus Sweden in my setup, but that would be second place in our group versus one of the 3rd place teams, I think that is, in the quarterfinals. It's not till the semi-finals France, in this situation, play like a top team. And that, realistically, is why I've got them favourites. So that's my overall predictions. Tell me what yours are. Let me know what you think of mine. I don't really talk about top goal scorer, but I'm going Lukaku. Because in this, he gets to the semi-finals. And I think Belgium are more of a focal man team than France are. I think France's goals will be a little bit more spread out. I think they'll score more, but I think they'll be a little bit more spread out amongst the attacking talent, which is also insane for them. And before I go, I plan to stream a lot during the Euros. I'm still finalising the details. I've literally had my vaccine today, so tomorrow might be a problem, but I plan to stream late mornings, or just before lunch, essentially brunch time. Find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/AmazingChi. I'll be playing Football Manager. I won't be focused on the Euros, but we'll be talking the Euros, and I tend to do this for pretty much most mornings, or at least every morning that I am here. Tomorrow morning, depending on how I react to this jab, I'll see you then. If not, Sunday, before the England game. So I'll see you then, hopefully. And like I said before, let me know what you think about my predictions. Tell me yours. Put them in the comments down below. I want to see you down there. Until next time, ta-ra.